Did he know one of his victims wasn't a Jew? I love how people are using that as it somehow mitigates what this was about. You know he didn't know, right? He was there to kill Jews, obviously. But imagine if you're right, and he did know that one of them was not Jewish. So now they're targeting not just Jews, but those who stand with Jews?
The left is celebrating the murder of 2 Israeli embassy staffers who died in a horrific murder by Elias Rodriguez, who's been accused of being a part of Israel, conspiracy, blah, blah, blah. Anyways, in today's video, we're going to be getting a different perspective, a perspective that I'm sure you guys are going to learn a lot from. Let's watch the video.
We know the shooter is a far-left activist, caught on camera shouting "Free Palestine," and as he was arrested, he kept chanting the slogan and said, "I did it for Gaza." So why the F are all these people on the left saying "if true"? And if that's who he is, and if he's not an IDF plant, and you don't want any of the blame for what just happened on you? He is described as what he is. He said what he said. Stop asking why people who understand what we're up against, like Douglas Murray, caution Joe Rogan against his comic buddies bashing Israel for sport and to develop a following. Prosecutors allege this guy fired nearly 24 bullets in this attack because he wanted to kill as many as he could. And we know what's feeding the fire, right? Don't pretend to not know what this is about. The man has been conditioned to identify with the oppression in Gaza as if he's one of them, and there are so many like him here, in our families, on our campuses. Did he know one of his victims wasn't a Jew? I love how people are using that as it somehow mitigates what this was about. You know he didn't know, right? He was there to kill Jews, obviously. But imagine if you're right, and he did know that one of them was not Jewish. So now they're targeting not just Jews, but those who stand with Jews? Now, if it's not true, and I doubt it is, that he knew, it is certainly what Islamists instruct on the extreme side, here on American soil. Did he know that the 2 people he murdered were leaving an event that was about coordinating more aid to Gaza? Would it even matter when he's constantly told that Israel is starving as part of a genocide? And many feeding his broken brain are in America in positions of influence and power. And even though same people are now saying they're disgusted by this, even though it's the latest manifestation of their efforts. And they're saying they're against anti-Semitism, like the Squad and its putative leader, AOC. Absolutely nothing justifies the murder of innocents. Anti-Semitism is a threat to all we hold dear as a society. It must be confronted and rooted out everywhere. Did I miss the word Jews in there in terms of who was killed? Odd omission. Odd omissions. They're not just innocents. He just didn't go into a school and fire away. He was looking for Jews. You know, the people you say are conducting a genocide. Those people. Now, of course, AOC doesn't just say what I just read, right? Nor do her colleagues, right? And it's all those other signals and suggestions that foment what we saw here and on our campuses. And you can make the case. Hold it. You can make the case. Don't draw a moral equivalency between the murder of 2 and the murder of thousands. Okay, in Gaza. Okay, but what are you leaving out in that? I'll tell you what the parallel is, okay? These murders were precipitated by hate of Jews, just like October 7th.
Yep.
And what's happening in Gaza is being done by the people who were targeted. And Hamas, not freedom fighters, terrorists, refused to disarm, refused to stop hiding among civilians, refused to stop stealing the aid for civilians, and refused to return who they stole. And these 2 victims did nothing to this guy who killed them, whereas the people in Gaza, many of whom don't support Hamas, but many who do, October 7th is on Hamas. How can you draw a moral equivalence between what Israel is doing and what started that? You can say it's too much. Of course it is. You can say there should be more aid. Of course there should. But the nexus of all of it necessarily goes back to the terrorists who started it, who are still there, with the tacit, if not open, respect and support of many people in this country. We have no idea how deep this problem goes here at home. Democrats, my brothers and sisters, I understand why you're worried about Trump. I understand why you call him an ultimate evil, but I don't agree. And if you want the ultimate evil, look at the Islamists, the extreme ones in America, not just Muslims. And mind your dogs who are doing their bidding. What am I talking about? Look online to the reaction. Americans calling a terrorist a hero again, saying he, like the healthcare CEO murderer, was justified in violence.
That is absolutely disgusting. Also, another big TikToker, your favorite guy, or Ben Christensen, or I don't exactly know his name. He said he doesn't condemn the killing of the two Israelis, the two Zionists who died, and then he started justifying it for minutes. Absolutely disgusting how people normalize murder of two innocent people who did nothing wrong to anyone. Let's continue.
It's the same thing I've heard in Iraq and Afghanistan, but now echoing from Indiana. This is not a one-off. It's just one more of what we choose to ignore.
The attack that took place last week was disgusting. And what's even more disgusting is the reactions and the comments I've been seeing on many posts, how justice was served to a young couple that was supposed to get engaged in the following weeks in Jerusalem. Absolutely disgusting. How can people justify such a thing? And then people start making shit up, saying how this guy is an IDF soldier, how Israel planted the whole thing to make it seem like there's anti-Judaism, anti-Semitism. What are you on? I can guarantee you that if I'm seen by an Islamist who knows who I am, I'm going to be just as much of a target as they were. And if there's no cameras and no press, a lot of you will also be the targets. This attack is just an example of what America will become. It's already becoming that. It's truly endangering the West, and we have to be aware of it. That's the only time where I think wokeism is allowed. Be woke to these ideas of people wanting to eliminate you. It's not very common in the West. You're not ready to accept it. But in the UK, they're understanding it already. In France, they're understanding it already. In Canada, they're understanding it. In the US, there's still time. Open up your eyes. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to support me financially, you can do so through Buy Me Coffee or Patreon down in the links below. Thank you for being here, and I'll see you again in the next video. Bye-bye.